Under the veil of a sullen meridian twilight, a mosaic of faded newspaper clippings painted the desk of William Drake, a lonesome silhouette toiling away in the solitary gloom of his apartment. He was a seasoned journalist, his eyes shrewd, resolute, and sprinkled with a tinge of melancholy, concealing an ocean of buried anguish in unsaid words. Crumpled receipts, scribbled notes, and the musky scent of age-old archives mixed with the sharp tang of black coffee added to the room's somber ambiance. The tangible reality of his past trauma, his brush with depression, was echoed in the silent disarray. William's eyes carried a haunting depth. They had borne witness to too many unspoken secrets, too many forgotten tragedies. "Back again, Drake?" A raspy voice crackled through his worn-out telephone, cutting through the room's palpable silence. It was the all-too-familiar voice of Sheriff Collins. "Couldn't keep away, could I?" replied William, his voice holding a mix of grim determination and exhaustion. Still hunting the shadows of Nexus Corp, his investigation had begun as a benign interest, a simple return of a favor to a friend who'd once pulled him back from the abyss. But as the layers of Meridian's grim underbelly unfurled, it had morphed into an obsession, a personal crusade against the unseen monsters cloaked in corporate attire. "You're chasing phantoms, boy," the sheriff muttered, an undertone of worry lacing his words. "Don't let it consume you." "It's too late for that," he whispered, staring at the Nexus Corp logo on an old flyer. It bore the illusion of a benign industrial giant, but underneath it reeked of something far more sinister. As he trawled through the testimonies, the police reports, and the fading headlines, he painted a chilling portrait of the Nexus Corp. Their footprint was etched in multiple weapon smuggling cases, a sinister background score to Meridian's unsettling symphony. "Shadows or not, Sheriff, I need to know. I owe it to him," William said. The unspoken name of his fallen comrade hung heavy in the air, a ghost forever entwined with his fate. The town of Meridian seemed to slumber, oblivious to the monstrous reality lurking beneath the facade of its peaceful neighborhood and the imposing edifice of Nexus Corp. Its everyday hustle drowned the gruesome whispers and murmurs of strange rituals, the lurking specter of unfathomable that William had begun to unearth. As he traced the faint echoes of his source's last words, "They're not what they seem. They eat their own." He gazed out into the city's distant skyline. The hulking structure of Nexus Corp, under the vast cosmic canvas, pulsed ominously under the city's veil of silence. With a sense of impending dread, he knew that the dawn of his inquiries was just the start of a terrifying plunge into the abyss. The chill of the cold night offered no comfort as he prepared to step deeper into Meridian's sinister shadow. The only solace he found was in the hope that his resolve would shine a light on the truth lurking behind Nexus Corp's ominous silhouette. The cloak of anonymity in a bustling, uncaring city was both a gift and a curse. William Drake, persistent in his pursuit of truth, discovered the many-masked Meridian War in the shadow of Nexus Corp. His journey, much like the sinuous streets of the city, led him into labyrinthine corners brimming with secrets and dread. In dilapidated pubs and dimly lit alleys, he sought reluctant voices. His words, gentle yet determined, coaxed former employees of Nexus Corp to the surface, their stories like tarnished coins tossed into the murky pool of Meridian's grim underbelly. A disgruntled ex-security officer, a hollow-eyed shell of his former self, muttered haunting tales over a tumbler of whiskey, his trembling fingers betraying the facade of indifference. "Nightmares, mate," he murmured. "That's all you'd get from Nexus. It's not just guns. It's far worse." His cryptic words echoed in William's mind, a jigsaw piece of the horrific puzzle he was assembling. The visage of the woman who worked in Nexus Corp's cafeteria was no less unsettling. She, a mother who had lost a child, spoke of hushed whispers and the chilling echoes of unnamed rituals in the heart of Nexus Corp. As the heart-wrenching tales of Nexus Corp's victims painted the canvas of his investigation, the insidious nature of the company began to unfurl. The stories were fragments, shards of a broken mirror, each reflecting another part of their grim face. But the horrifying image that took shape hinted at a reality that stretched beyond human comprehension. As the heart-wrenching tales of Nexus Corp's victims painted the canvas of his investigation, the insidious nature of the company began to unfurl. The stories were fragments, shards of a broken mirror, each reflecting another part of their grim face. But the horrifying image that took shape hinted at a reality that stretched beyond human comprehension. The shocking revelation arrived in the form of an anonymous envelope delivered at the dead of night containing a single, unidentifiable piece of gnarled, dried meat and a note. Nexus feeds on us. Suddenly, the innuendos, the rumors, and the eerie tales snapped into a nightmarish picture. The weapon smuggling was but a grim note in the company's horrifying symphony, a conduit to fund their unspeakable, cannibalistic practices. Despite the looming shadow of fear, William refused to back down. His commitment to the truth was unyielding, every revelation feeding his determination. He could feel the weight of the story he carried, the profound horror it held, and the lives it had claimed. He was no longer a mere journalist. He was an avenger, a torchbearer illuminating the morbid shadow that Nexus Corp cast over Meridian. As the final vestiges of daylight succumbed to the encroaching night, the towering edifice of Nexus Corp seemed more menacing. But William, armed with his ink and paper, knew his quest was far from over. The pulse of Meridian beat with an eerie rhythm as he ventured deeper into the maw of Nexus Corp. The cityscape, once familiar and comforting, twisted into an unfamiliar labyrinth under the shadow of the looming corporate monolith. Here in the heart of the beast, normalcy was a facade that barely concealed the pulsating horror beneath. Chasing the tendrils of rumors and secrets, William found himself standing at the threshold of an unmarked, abandoned building, the underbelly of Nexus Corp, referred to only in hushed whispers as the Sanctuary. As he stepped over the threshold, the air grew dense and a primal fear whispered at the edges of his consciousness. Inside the murky labyrinth, he found cryptic symbols etched into the walls, ungodly caricatures and runic scriptures that seemed as ancient as time itself. The dim glow from his flashlight revealed horrific scenes of rituals and sacrifices, the lingering scent of dried blood, and a dread too profound to name. His encounters with the cult members were laced with an uncanny terror. Their faces, once human, now wore a ravenous, monstrous expression. Their eyes, blank and cold, mirrored the depths of cosmic voids, hinting at an existence beyond the boundaries of sanity. Unsettling conversations, veiled threats, and cryptic insinuations played out like a grotesque dance. "We are but humble servants," one cult member rasped, "servants of the hungering dark." As he delved deeper into the cult's terrifying reality, William's resolve began to waver. His nights were plagued with insidious nightmares of grotesque entities, their formless bodies defying the laws of nature. His sanity hung by a thread, teetering on the edge of a terrifying abyss as he began to question the fabric of reality. His past trauma and depression resurfaced, the fear gnawing at his mind, its cold tendrils wrapping around his psyche. In his deteriorating mental state, he unearthed the cult's horrific purpose. Nexus Corp was not merely a congregation of human-eating savages, but acolytes of an ancient cosmic entity they worshipped and believed to be the source of their power. The revelation was a crushing blow, the weight of the horror too immense to bear. As he stood alone in the heart of the abyss, the grotesque truth of Nexus Corp was finally laid bare. The horror that they worshipped, that they planned to summon, was not of this world. It was a cosmic horror, a monstrous entity lurking in the spaces between the stars. The chilling implications sent tremors down his spine. The cryptic symbols, the ritualistic cannibalism, the weapon smuggling, it was all a prelude to something far more horrifying. He knew he had to stop them, but the abyss was staring back at him, its cosmic gaze threatening to swallow him whole. It was a race against time, against his fraying sanity, and against the unfolding cosmic horror that threatened to plunge Meridian into eternal darkness. In the bleak belly of Nexus Corp, beneath the innocuous veneer of corporate legitimacy, the echoes of the final ritual hummed with terrifying anticipation. William, now a mere shadow of his former self, was a stranger adrift in an ocean of cosmic horror. Time had blurred into an indistinguishable murk. He could no longer discern days from nights, his world reduced to the undulating horrors of the cult and the gnawing dread in his mind. The cosmic entity they worshipped, a beast birthed from the dark recesses of the cosmos, was slowly unveiling itself, feeding off the cult's gruesome rituals and the terror seeping into Meridian's underbelly. In a desperate bid to quell the rising tide of dread, William confronted the cult, immersing himself in the horrifying tableau of the final ritual. The very air pulsated with a monstrous energy, the cryptic symbols throbbing with a terrifying life of their own. The dreadful sounds of chants were a language of despair, resonating with the ominous heartbeat of the cosmic entity. "I offer myself to the hungering dark," intoned the cult leader, his words seeping into the dense silence, infecting it with a nightmarish anticipation. His eyes were vacant, his soul consumed by the cosmic horror he worshipped. With every shred of his dwindling courage, William lunged forward, disrupting the circle of acolytes. A collective gasp filled the room, a single suspended note in the macabre symphony. But it was too late. The ritual had reached its terrifying climax. The cosmic entity, an indescribable monstrosity of formless shadows and writhing tendrils, had partially manifested. Its psychic wave slammed into William, an invisible force that shattered his fragile psyche. His mind was a broken mirror reflecting the terrifying visage of the entity. He crumbled to the floor, his consciousness fading as he bore witness to the monstrous reality of the entity and the ghastly aftermath of the ritual. His life ebbed away, absorbed by the implacable silence that followed the ritual. The chilling realization that he was the final sacrifice struck him in his final moments. His death was not in vain, however. His last act of defiance had halted the full manifestation of the cosmic entity. In the end, Meridian fell into a deafening silence. The city, once vibrant and alive, was now a silent witness to the cosmic horror's birth. The once mighty Nexus Corp was revealed as an unholy shrine to cosmic monstrosities. Amidst this profound silence, one could almost hear the echo of a single tragic truth, that in the vast, indifferent cosmos there exist horrors far beyond our comprehension, patiently waiting in the unfathomable abyss of the cosmic silence. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed our content, show your support with a like and subscribe, and stay notified by hitting the bell icon. Expect more cosmic horror from Eldritch Tales Factory, and feel free to explore our other stories. See you in the next video.